Check, 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 check. Check, baby, check. 1, 2. This is an audio check. Pedro and I will be with you shortly. What's up, Crypto Mike in the house? Thanks for joining us. All right, everybody, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking. You're in the digital media world, so glad to be hosting another episode of this great show we call DYOR Live, like it says here on the masthead. It is January 22nd, 2026. We're ripping through January. Bitcoin is ripping. No, Bitcoin still isn't doing anything this month. Hanging out here, still in the 89 to 90 area, waiting for those moves to start happening. Got Elon Musk on the TV next to us. Elon was speaking at the World Economic Forum and reiterated kind of the same things that the Americans said. Say, Europe, you know what? You guys have basked under the security of our money and military for a long time, and it's time for you guys to get your head out of your ass. which is so true. Anyway, markets are recovering from Trump's speech yesterday. The S&P 500 is moving right up. The Dow Jones is moving right up. Gold and silver are at new highs, or at least touching the new highs. Silver, new high. Gold, right on the edge of a new high. Maybe it did while I'm talking here. And of course, Pedro, what we left off earlier in the week, I had it as a tab open for a while, and I just forgot about it, so I decided to talk about it today. Michael Saylor buys another 20,000 Bitcoin. Do you recall, I don't know, about a month ago or so, I said, yeah, but he's got an extra $2 billion sitting around in cash. It's good to pay some dividends. Well, he didn't want to do that. He just bought more Bitcoin. Yeah. If you can believe that.
He's just buying at low and not topping off, which is what I respect that.
He's just buying. He doesn't really care. Doesn't really care. Anyway, welcome everybody to the house here. Crypto Mike coming to us from Manitoba, Canada. Hopefully it's not minus 49 over there in Winnipeg as the wind chill thing said it was going to be. As I posted on X, join us for Bitcoin, gold, silver, and some Davos talk today on DYOR Live. Not really going to do much Davos talk. We beat that like a dead.
But it's hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. I mean, dude, we're like going over going, yeah, get off our tit, get out of the house, start paying your own bills. You're freaking 35.
Essentially, Europe is living in our basement, right?
Yeah, we basically protect them from a military standpoint. We protect them literally in case anything happens remotely to them we pay the bills to keep the UN running. I mean, it's like 40%, right? 40 or 30% that the American, that we literally pay the most there is to the UN. I mean, it's crazy. We're like, come on, man. Like, and we're falling apart over here, and y'all are pissed off because were saying, we're falling apart here. We're working 24/7 to keep this house afloat, and y'all are sitting there still playing games down in the basement. WTF?
And
Get out, get a job.
Yelling upstairs saying for us to be quiet.
There you, yeah, exactly. Dude, I have to share about this little hack that I found out that is disgustingly amazing.
What would that be, Pedro?
All right. So, something that's really good for you is Greek yogurt. You can make your Greek yogurt yourself, which is cool. Get some cultures, and you can just put it in milk. Make sure it's like whole milk, or whatever or you want to do 2%, whatever you do. Right? You let it curdle. Takes about, I think, like 2 weeks or a week. But then what happens? You can just keep adding milk to it, and it keeps growing. You doesn't need to do much. Now, or you can go and you can buy it and start there as well. Right? Just make sure you don't get it. Just make sure that the sugar in it is, like good sugar. You don't want like super refined sugar. Just make sure it's good sugar. So I wanted to try this thing out where basically you take non-sugary Greek yogurt, plain like bleh, like bleh yogurt, put it down, and you put fruits in it, and then you put the, like, I forgot what they're called, but they're like the little, like, not that sugary. They're not sugary. They're not much of sugary, but they're like molasses cookies that are like crumble cookies. You know what I'm talking about? They're like they come from Europe.
Sugary cookies.
No, but they're not tasty though. They're kind of like bland.
No, I don't.
Okay, they're like I forget. They come like in a red and gold casing. Anyways, they're all over. I've traveled all over the United States. I know that because there's some of my favorite cookies just to like put milk in, right? Like dip them with milk. It's one of my favorite, and they're cheap. They're like maybe $1 for like a packet of them. But again, there's not a lot of sugar in it. There's not a lot of ingredients. It's just pretty much flour, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of molasses, and they sell it. They're like old-fashioned like Greek cookies or Italian cookies. But so in this video I saw, they literally, and I'm not joking when I say, they literally go through, they put these things, they grab the Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, they put like some strawberries, blueberries. I like strawberries and bananas. So I put it in there. And then for the base layer, you put the cookies down, almost like a crumble cake. Then put your fruit, you layer that with fruit that you like. And then on top of that, you put Greek yogurt and you do it again. You get like 2 layers, right? And then the third layer, you just lay that Greek yogurt on top of it. And dude, all these reviews online were like, this is absolutely amazing. I'm like, dude, what? You guys are taking it. But it was so simple that I was like, let me try that out. I'm just curious. So I went out and got it. Dear Lord in heaven, the most simplest, amazing, cheesecake tasting gloriousness. I was literally flabbergasted. I put it in the fridge overnight, woke up this morning because it's like basically like a parfait but healthier, like a breakfast parfait. So I was like, if it's all right, it'll be cool, right? Oh, bro, I was literally like, it's filling. I put a ton of fruit in it, so it's like really good. I threw some cinnamon. Oh, that's the other part. I threw in cinnamon, nutmeg, and a few other like ingredients to make them, just spice it up because I love spices. Oh, bro, it was glorious. I mean, glorious, dog. Like I can't even explain how good it was, man. My body was like, oh.
Pedro, you've been talking 20 minutes now about a cookie.
Listen, when you try this, you're gonna be like, holy
my skinny ass
God.
Isn't gonna be trying that boatload of calories you're talking about.
No, it's not, dude. That's the thing. The whole entire thing was maybe 400 calories.
That's half a Big Mac.
400 calories. What are you talking
See how
about?
much 400
An average
calories
meal.
is?
An average meal is 700 calories.
Oh,
what are you
telling
talking
me
about?
You're telling me that was your whole meal.
I'm telling you,
It
yes.
wasn't a giant burrito plate or the enchiladas or that
No,
concoction
there
that you
was.
make.
Dude, I am telling you right now that was. It was breakfast this morning, and I was like, it was absolutely, bro. Just try it. I swear you'll be like, wow, Paige. How many times have you second guessed me and then went back and been like, damn, he was right? How many times?
I'm not. All I know is that there's just too much ass padding in a lot of the stuff you suggest. So, especially at the time you eat them.
No, it's all it is just literally
Nobody
Greek yogurt.
you.
Whatever, dude. I'm like trying to like simple like crumble. It's not even a crumble. They don't even like. Most people don't even like it because they're not. The cookies aren't even sweet. Whatever. Next, let's talk about the market. It was amazing. I'm telling you. So, I'm gonna cook it when you come up here, or when you come over here next time. I'm gonna do it, and you're gonna be like, "Is that what it is?" Just like how the scratching cats, right? You're like, "Oh, that's the sound of scratching cats." I go, "Yes, it is." Like, it's so pretty. I go, "Exactly. It's exactly why I have it." All right, let's check out BTC. Enough of my shenanigans over here. See, BTC. Next. While Tom is doing all of his stuff over there, getting the word out, we are going to go over some cool stuff. All right, guys. So check it out. BTC for the week does not have much of a supply wick, which is right here. So that is actually kind of a good sign, saying that we bounced off the 100-day period moving average to a T on the weekly. It is a big deal. Look at that touch right there.
Nailed it right there.
Nailed it. Right, like nailed it. Tap, tap, tap a roof. Don't you want to go to your home? Yes, I do. I'm going to tap it right in and then bounce. You know what that is? That is a bachelor shower right there. What a bachelor shower is? All of us men understand this. When you got your first place, and then all of a sudden it's like you're going out with your boys, whether you're going to church or going to the club or whatever, you got to go and get shaped up. So you come in real quick. You got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So you turn on the hot water. Oh, no. You always take the shower because, if you don't want to have swamp ass. So you go in, turn on the you turn on the water to the hot water on the sink, then you jump in the shower real quick, throw it on cold, right? And then go in, wipe down. Takes 2 minutes in the shower. Make sure you're wiping your booty because nobody wants swamp ass or swamp balls. Remember, you're just coming from work. And then, boom, you jump out. You got the hot water. You shave real quick. Boom, 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 boom. And then you're out 5 minutes, and you're out.
A T5 dude says, "Get a room."
Get a room. You see it tapped it. That's that. Look at it. Came right down here to its home and bounced out like it is a bachelor going out. So that's actually really cool. We see it coming down. Boom. Nice little bounce. With an okay amount of volume too, which I do have to add when it did it. Look at the amount of volume that came in. That is respectable from yesterday. Boom. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo. Came up. I mean, I'm going to say respectable as in like, I don't know, like grandma status respectable. But I mean, enough to say maybe you're meeting the parents for the first time. You got to be respectable, right? But I mean, I was, when it comes to you meeting your grandma, you better be respectful or she's going to grab you by the ear and say, "Sonny." So, but this right here, look at that amount. It's not a bad amount of volume there. I got to respect that. It's actually really, 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 really nice. But the other part behind which I thought was really cool, we came down. I love it that it was on Wednesday, right? We talk about, we want to see the capitulation come in normally on a Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday-ish, and then come back up. Remember, we don't have any real demand wick or supply wick up here. So we can see it kind of pull back into the 8 period moving average by pulling up. We got one thing that is in the way here, and that's going to be the 50 period moving average here. So we did sell it, we did tap it. So if we cannot get above that 50 period moving average today or tomorrow, expect it to continue down. So make sure you're paying attention to it. But the fact that we tapped that 50 period or the 100 weekly period moving average sitting right here is looking hot to trot. So we got two positions there. We could either go up based off of the 100-day period moving average, or the 50 daily period moving average could hold us in this position right here and have us continue down into that 85, 83 area that we've been talking about. So be ready. Always be looking at your intra time frames. You want to gauge your long or short position based off of the intra time frames, because remember, if it's going to go up, it's going to first go up on the 5 minute, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour first. So we want to be paying attention to that. And if you're paying attention to those smaller time frames, you don't have to worry about it going against you, because once you start breaking again those, if we're moving up and we start breaking through the moving averages, well, you know, take profit, be thankful for participating in the actual market here. As Tom said yesterday, I made $40. I was happy, right? In the same sense, that's what we're looking to do, participating in the market while it's moving so that you can make some cash to store up for powder. So when we have huge sell-offs, so what can you do? You buy. That's it in a nutshell for BTC. How about you, Tom? How is life? Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Goose.
Good, Pedro. I'm slowly unveiling our new show sponsor, Augusta Precious Metals, and their gold and silver based 401k and retirement plans. They're, for you Canuckistanis and Europeans, this is a USA only product. But I have it over here, and I'm actually, you know what I'm going to do, Pedro, right now? I'm going to read the script for the first time.
Oh, let's do it.
For the Augusta Precious Metals here. And I don't have any of the graphics up or anything like that. I do have the QR code right below me to learn about. And obviously, this is a lead generation thing. If we generate leads for it, we get paid for that. And if people open up stuff like that, we get paid for that too. So I like to tell people when we are getting paid for something and supporting something. This is an official sponsor of our show, Augusta's Precious Metals. Let me ask you something personal. How did you sleep last night? This is my first time with this script, so
I slept okay. I haven't bought any gold,
about
though.
Bills that keep going up, groceries that cost twice what they used to, or whether your retirement will actually be there when you need it. You're not imagining things. Whatever money you had saved for in 2020 has already lost over 20% of its value. Your savings didn't shrink. They got robbed by the hidden tax called inflation. And here's what really keeps me up. Most retirement accounts are 100% tied to the stock market. When Wall Street panics, your future panics with it. But there's something that you can do. Diversify a portion of your retirement into physical gold, the kind that doesn't care what Washington does to the dollar or what happens on Wall Street. I'm recommending Augusta Precious Metals because they're the best in their space. A+ BBB, Better Business Bureau rating, over a decade helping Americans protect their wealth. They make it simple, 3 easy steps, and they handle the paperwork. When I first looked into gold IRAs, I did it right here on the show, you guys, if you recall. I expected a nightmare, but Augusta Precious Metals made it so transparent, easy. I was honestly amazed. Really, if you remember, I texted to their number 35052, and I got a report right away about it. It was actually, and it was free. It's really good. They don't bug you with emails and text messages. One customer said it perfectly. Thanks to Augusta, I finally have a peace of mind to enjoy my family without worrying about my savings. That's what this is really about. Not gold, but protecting what you've worked for your whole life to build from a system that's quietly draining away your value. So go to this QR code right down here to get Augusta's free information guide. No pushy sales calls, just real information on whether this makes sense for you. because Augusta Precious Metals is the clear leader. They have the best ratings. I actually checked them out before getting into this deal with them. They're clear leader in this space. I trust them, and I know you would be impressed too. And I've met the people that work for them too. This is not just an email thing. I've seen them on Zoom, much like I did with the guys from BitFi and stuff like that. We met and talked about things for a while, make sure that we're all on the same page here. So visit this QR code right here today. Get 0 gold IRA fees for up to 10 years. Really, they don't. The fees are almost nothing. And what I wanted to make sure too, everyone, was that if you open up an IRA with them and transfer money to them, because we earn a tiny little commission, but that your money just wasn't being transferred to us, and that's not how it works. When you deposit money with them, they buy gold for the full value that you deposit, and then we get our little, as they say, the VIG for being a creator out of their marketing budget, which is totally separate. Anyway, that's the first time I ran through the Augusta Precious Metals thing here. You'll see more graphics about it, and as we know, gold is booming right now, so there's really no better time to be thinking about gold and that type of stuff. Anyway, and it's also a financial instrument, so I have to stick to the script on these things. I can't usually. I speak quite extemporaneously on these. Anyway, Augusta Gold, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everybody to the show here. Welcome DeFi Dude coming to us from Madrid, Spain. DeFi Dude, let us know how it's going on over there. Let us know how the World Economic Forum is being viewed over there. The U.S. people in the U.S. used to think, oh, that's just whatever, just another trade show with rich people in it. Now it's it's hated amongst at least half of our country. Elon Musk speaking right now. I unfortunately not listening. Actually, this is a replay now. I've got it on repeat. I'd like to hear your Irish/resident of Spain view of the World Economic Forum and the buffoonery that goes on there. Crypto Mike says that it's minus 32 in this little town of outside of Winnipeg. I believe that it's cold. It's cold up there. That's Celsius, and so that's right about that's minus 30 Fahrenheit.
Ooh.
Cold. Cold.
Minus 30?
Yeah.
Minus. Oh my.
Yeah, at minus 40 they're the same Fahrenheit and Celsius. So it's gonna be it's just gonna be a miserable couple of days. The cold coming in through Canada, and there's that moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. Excuse me, don't cancel me. The Gulf of America, and it's gonna produce a whopper of a storm in the middle of the U.S. I hope it catches us up here in Canada. Need some snow to the ski areas, but it's gonna. They're talking about it. It's gonna be such a bad storm that it'll likely affect the markets. In fact, they're potentially even might even end up being a day, or depending on whether the snow falls on Friday or Saturday, and the cold and all that type of stuff, that it could affect the markets. It's the classiest pedo convention we do. Did you guys send us your best? The Europeans have this love of the word pedo. I just don't get it. They literally think that everybody is gonna have Chris Hansen knocking at his door.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Chris Hansen is, it's good. Don't. Because if he knocks on your door, you have a problem.
Well, you got a problem long before you knock
it's
on
like
your
everyone.
door.
It's like everyone in Europe is the biggest perv on the planet, and they all think that every child has been molested. Every leader say they don't get to be a leader unless they do that, and you're like, wait, that's anyway. But I'm guessing that word has been the definition has been broadened over time to talk about these rich losers that think they know what they're doing when they start pontificating. And what we see with them, there's obviously a lot of billionaires like Musk that doesn't listen to people and have yes men around him. Musk is thinking all the time, like, how do I solve this problem? How do I solve this problem? How do I solve this problem? Then there's other guys that have made a lot of money and surround themselves by yes people. So anytime they come up with some wacky idea, everyone around them is like, hey, that's a good plan there. Kind of like the Illinois governor, J.B. Pritzker. He was born a billionaire, said, his trust executives around him his whole life. Then he ran for office, paid for it himself, didn't raise any money from anyone. And was the governor of Illinois. And he's surrounded by yes, but he thinks all of his ideas are good because people are like, yes, boss, that's great. Good plan. Let's import all these people from Zimbabwe and just dump them off in Illinois. And yeah, that's a good plan. Let's take everyone's guns too. Yeah, great. But not mine. I'm governor, so I need mine. But not you. Yes, good plan. Good plan. And then let's raise taxes because those billionaires, not me, not on me. I removed the toilets from my house, so the property taxes went to zero. That's what he did. That's what the governor of Illinois did, is he removed the toilets from his house. Because the law said if you only have one working toilet, it's considered a construction toilet. DeFi dude, don't get me started on this. Then yes, we sent you our best. We did.
Well, how does
we were going to send Tim Waltz and the governor and the mayor of Minnesota or of Minneapolis, but they're busy hiring lawyers trying to figure out how not to get indicted for fraud.
Wait, but jump back. How does he use the bathroom? I'm confused.
Well, the governor now lives in the governor's mansion. His house in Chicago, he removed all the toilets and then had a property tax attorney go and say his house was under long-term construction and renovation and not habitable, because in order for a house to be habitable, it has to have a toilet for every so many thousand square feet.
Yeah, and that's how you pay taxes. Gotcha.
And so he got his property taxes reduced from about $50,000 a year on this multi-million dollar mansion downtown to roughly $1,900. The guy's worth billions. Yeah, thanks. Our cops didn't need that. Our schools didn't need that money. Thanks a lot, asshole.
Well, as Trump said, and I think it's very, very timely, they built it for themselves. And if they didn't want you to use it, then they would change it. But they don't.
Good point. Pedro, let's hit the precious metals here. We did the Augusta ad. Let's talk about gold and silver and where they are with their right up at their highs there, and then we'll hit the S&P 500 and talk about what you see coming up for that.
Mm-hmm. So basically, it just created a new all-time high. Right now we're at 48.95. We're shy of 4,900. I mean, we could, but the way it is moving, I mean, today alone, it went from 47.71, and it went to, it went up. It's almost 100 points.
Yeah, the PAX
from the low to the high.
49.02. I'm sorry, 49.03 now. It just went up.
I mean, it's PAX G at all. It's just all going. Like it's really moving. And I mean, I thought it was I really thought that it was 5,000 was a pretty. At the beginning of the year, we were still at 4,000. You know, like that. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? We literally, I mean, from January 1st, I said, okay, we're at 40, I don't think we'll see a 20% jump. I mean, it doubled literally last year. I would think it would calm down a little. No, that's not what happened. Nope. Like we're barely finished with the first month of the year. We're not even finished. And we're almost up 20%. On gold. That's just
it's nuts.
That's nuts.
Give us the let's make that bigger so we can see the yearly candle bigger and see what.
Yeah, I was about to say
gold.
exactly. Look at this. This is the yearly candle of last year.
So there's a lot of lines there, Pedro. Just so you know.
Oh, let's see if I can remove it and bring it back.
Yeah, you should be able to hide them. Just use the hide feature, not the remove.
Where is it?
On the toolbar. Usually it's on the toolbar over on the left, which I don't think you have up.
It's right here.
Oh, sorry, I was hiding my. Yeah. Oh, my stream deck is all fucked up again. God damn it.
That is not it. Oh, there we go. Nice. I did not know that was there. All right. So look, this is the first month. First, as I very first month.
He's looking at a 12 month thing here.
Thingamabobber here. I'm gonna just do this here. So you're gonna. What just happened there? Oh, that's why. Okay. So if I do that, then okay. Let me go ahead and remove this here real quick. All right. Let's do this again one more time. If you look at the size of this here, right? Look at the size of that. The same, that's about this right here. So maybe a little bit less, and maybe right here. This is what, like the first month of last year, or the first month of last year was maybe this right here. Where this line is, where the second line is right here. We've literally doubled that. And we're literally sitting at this point right here, which is, I think, about halfway. The last part of last year, the last 3 months, 4 months is when we started seeing everything go crazy. You can see here that as of right now, we're already just skyrocketing. Now, the biggest thing I want to be mindful is this, right? Is what's the one thing I always talk about? There is no demand wick. Okay. And that's a big sign for me. Now, yes, we did not have much of a demand wick last year and the previous year and the previous year before that. So I'm going to add that, right? You can see that there. It doesn't really go down much as of right now. So, but I just want to be careful because, well, you see this big drop that we had from 2002. We saw a huge rally in gold, which is the same circumstance from 2100 or 2100. That's crazy, right? 2000 or 200 back in 2010. Excuse me, 2000. Back in 2000, we were at about like 200 in gold, and then you saw a sky high up to 1900 at the end of 2011, and it comes down and it consolidates here. Okay, but it literally almost did a 10x from 2000 to 2011. So in 10 years, we saw it basically do almost a 10x. Now, let's look at where we're sitting right now. If we potentially could see a similar situation, this sitting, give me one second, let me remove this. This is sitting at 1300. So if this does a 10x from when we start to see the rally, because I didn't go all the way down to the very bottom, which was I guess that was 200. So let's go right here. This is 1,000. If we see a 10x from this low, that means that's a $10,000 gold for $10,000 gold for every 12 ounces for an ounce of gold. That's this right here over the next, what is this going to be? The rally.
Is that price level you're pointing at right now 1,000?
Yeah, that's this lower part right here. Actually, if we're gonna do, we want to do it here. So it'd be more like 2022, 2021 is when we want to see this, right? So it actually would be more like 1,400. So that's this area right here. Is really where you would play that, because this is where it came down, it rallied, boom, came down, and then you saw just the big explosion for 10 years. So that's really the low here. So we're talking, that's 1,600. This was back in 2022. So you could see a 16,000. That's 4x of where we're sitting right now for what we're seeing here. Is that possible? I don't know.
Anything's possible, but that's a lot of money that needs to go into the market. I was watching the Canadian Bitcoiners yesterday, and Joey was talking about what we've talked about here is that people don't understand the market cap of gold and the amount of money in it, and the basically every 3% change in gold is like the entire Bitcoin market cap. It's like it's I think I'm getting those numbers mixed up, but the point is that very small movements in gold are way more money that's in Bitcoin. And if you want to know why just capital isn't flowing into the ETFs and flowing into Bitcoin like crazy, it's because there's only so much actual cash out there in capital that can buy this stuff. And as we see, a lot of it's going into gold right now. Countries are buying it, institutions are buying it, people are buying it. It's a big deal right now. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of cash being drained. I should say a lot of liquidity being drained from other markets like Bitcoin. Our volume today in Bitcoin, 40 billion or something like that. 24 billion. Yeah. Wait, something's wrong with the volume over there. Oh, that's Pax Gold's volume, not Bitcoin. I was like, something's wrong there. But anyway, Pedro, that's a lot of money to get it to 16,000. But we know Wall Street's full of money. It's not like it's not there.
Yeah, that's the key point. Is that actually, if anything, I mean, this is Federal Reserve. These are countries going in and buying gold. This is China buying gold. This is any other large corporate entity, whatever nation is out there, they're buying gold because the unstableness of the world, partially what Trump is doing with his interactions over at Davos, it's very unsettling because he's not a politician. And so for them to come out and say, we're done with you guys, like, get out of our basement and start.
He did say something great over there, though, Pedro, that's directly related to what we're talking about here. First, a new viewer alert here. Sambucas X says, buy the dip, buy the apex, buy all the time. Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute when we talk about Michael Saylor. Thanks for watching us, Sambucas. We really appreciate it.
Where did Pedro, he find us at? Just real quick, ask him where he found us.
On Rumble.
Well, the reason why I say that is because I've been out there harassing people, little meme things that go viral. Like, like you get like, like, for example, there was one this morning where I went out there and I posted us where the viral video was this guy goes, oh, dude, check this out. He goes, what do you think is when guys are joking or you have a bunch of like guys, right? We're not against people being gay, but it is one of those things in men culture. It is an insult to straight males if you call them gay, right? And so at least here in America, it is that way. So it's filled with a bunch of dudes just laughing. And then part of it goes, if you had to, would you take away, Wi-Fi from gay people, or get $1 million or something like that? And the guy is, oh, definitely take away the Wi-Fi. And then all of a sudden the video goes still, like absolutely still, as if like they took away your Wi-Fi. And so in the comment section, there's like 60,000 comments in it. So I'm had a field day basically saying, oh, did you see the end of the video where the girls were running around and jogging? And by the way, they also said something about like crypto and charting, and also that awesome show called DYOR Media Network. Absolutely epic. Changed their lives, they said. You should go check them out. They're either on YouTube or Rumble. I think like filled it through the... Anyways, so I'm just wondering if we're pulling anybody from there.
Anyway, at Davos, Mr. Trump said something that was very interesting, Pedro. And since I don't really follow the precious metals markets, I do only in like seeing snippets and headlines and things like that. This may be something that you know well, but I don't. Trump came out and he was talking about rare earth elements and precious metals and that type of stuff. And he just came right out and said, because there's a shortage of them. And then he corrected himself. And he said, no, there's not a shortage of precious metals and rare earths. He said, there's plenty of them. They're all over the place. He said, there's a shortage of refining capacity. And I found that really interesting, because that's not the storyline we hear all the time. We hear how, China is really lucky to have all these things because, a trillion years ago, a big comet smoked it. And thus they have all the resources they need, and thus we're going to be at their beck and call for all these years because only they have all these things, and even some in Africa, but it's not like what China has. And as it turns out, after just a little bit of research of that, all of that whole concept is false.
The narrative
that rare earth elements are rare is false. We're able to find them now much easier because of AI. AI can comb through the data, the sounding data and all this type of stuff that they've used, and the drilling cores and all that stuff, and figure this stuff out a lot faster. And they can figure out which ways the veins in the earth go, so things are more economical. And as it turns out, Mr. Trump is, I believe he's correct, saying that there's tons of rare earth elements. They're all over the place. People talk about like certain elements are only made in supernovas and stuff like that. Certain elements are made in volcanoes. Certain elements are made in our Earth's core, and it take billion years to get to the surface. But there's tons of them. There's just no refining capacity, and we in the U.S. and Canada have ruined our refining capacity by passing draconian environmental rules that prevent more refining capacity. Note, we didn't pass laws saying you just can't pollute. We passed laws saying you can't even start these mines because they're going to pollute, unless these draconian things, environmental studies that take 25 years happen. And so thus no new refining capacity comes on in the United States. We have tons of this stuff out in the Southwest. We have it all over. The Rocky Mountains are filled with rare earth elements. Canada's north is... their ring of fire is filled with this stuff. We just can't refine it. Maybe that's good. Maybe we let China use all its rare earth elements and then pollute itself to death, and then we use ours later on. I don't know, but it was one of those things that there's probably someone in the Trump administration somewhere going, no, don't say that. No, oh damn it, too late. No. But I found that to be very interesting. That according to the United States, there's plenty of rare earth elements for everybody, just nobody can refine it like the Chinese can because they don't care about environmental rules. So, surprising? No. Interesting? Yes. Breaking from Master Friend. What? St. Paul school member Chantel Allen perp walked after storming the Minnesota church with Don Lemon, charged with conspiracy to deprive rights. That's on top of BLM activist Nakima Armstrong being arrested. Wow, that's good breaking news. That idiot Don Lemon. I mean, sorry to change the conversation. We still need to go over silver and stuff, but that idiot Don Lemon, he deserves to get arrested too. He just deserves to get punched in the face hard. Get stormed someone's church and protested, and he's calling it First Amendment to do it. I'm like, this is church is private property. You don't have a right to storm someone's private property. interfere with their church.
What's interesting also is, so I went through and I talked with Grok, I talked with Gemini, spoke with the other AIs, and I said, what is the central sentiment on both sides of that action, and what is social media saying? And it was unanimous that it was a little too far. They shouldn't have done that. And there is a lot of backlash coming from the central side of the Democrats and liberals. Like, okay, that was too far, man. You guys, it's again too much. Almost like when they were talking about child mutilation, right, through transgender, going after 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds, right, applauding and saying that drag queens for kindergarten
You're hitting all
shows.
the key words here today.
I am purposely, because the reality is that it's really like, what is the main narrative that is being spoken here? It is really saying you have to take what we're giving you, which is coming from big banksters, and you're going to just like it. And the idea behind what Trump is saying and doing, and also what the far left agenda being pressed upon the American people, that even the central government or the central Democrats are now at a point where like, okay, you're going too far again. We can't back. We were backing you. We would agree with the whole entire, legal immigration and leave them here, right? But now that you're going into churches, it's too much. It's too much. We can't handle this. You can't do this. We can't. We can't be around. We can't support this. And I find it really interesting that they are literally on social media just simply saying that's too much, man. We can't support this. They're making comments on X, Facebook, even on Blue Skies is like, dude, this is America. That's like the one place you don't go into. You don't go into mosques. You don't go into even the abortion clinic situation, right? Like the far right was just like, dude,
You just can't go onto private property. You just That's not how this works. We have private property for a reason. It means stay out. It doesn't mean you have a right to come on and disrupt the church. The guy was talking about it. He's like these morons don't understand the trouble they can get in going into churches like that. He said because people view their churches as their home. It is their home. It is their community. And when you disrupt someone's home, they have an entirely different response than just saying, oh, those guys are wackos out in the street. They shouldn't do that. Let's turn ice on them. When you disrupt someone's home, they come out of swinging. And, the next church is going to be ready for it. And when they come into that church, because that's what happens is when you want to take down a society, you ruin the community, and you ruin their homes.
Safety. Yeah,
and everyone is always taking down churches. The Germans took down churches. The Russians took down churches. It's the classic
CCP.
thing.
The CCP went through.
They took down churches too, because it's a place where people meet and it's their home. They exchange ideas. They disagree with what the government's doing, and they can do something about it because they don't want their homes damaged. And the government's come in and violently get rid of them. And the people in Minnesota are suddenly seeing this happen to them. The next time it happens, there's going to be a bunch of people with bullets on their head, I'm afraid, because they're going to view it as a security threat. And it'll be a big problem.
The thing is, I know my church, we have police officers. They all carry. I know in multiple
normal. I'm
churches.
surprised that this church didn't have someone with it. If I was the pastor, I would just reach under the altar and grab the shotgun and been jacked one off into the ceiling. It's like, everyone out, or you're next. Out. Next one's at you.
Yeah, like that's
Out.
I remember
when
when
the hero of America.
Well, I don't know. I think they would have been twisted. I think very much it would have been said, these guys came in peacefully, but I'm glad
the video shows them not.
Right. But
he's screaming at kids, and when kids crying. I'm surprised the dad didn't get up and start punching people in the face.
I know, right? I mean, literally in his face. And I'm like, Bro, can you not see? You're going so far. It was crazy.
Anyway, let's punt on this conversation. Go back to silver. We covered gold.
Yeah. Too much. I'm sorry. Yeah, we can go too far.
It's all right. It's all right. These things happen.
All right, yeah. So let's check out silver because silver is looking hot to trot. We're seeing it actually pick off the 8-period moving average. We talked about a couple places it could pull back, but I said most likely it's going to come consolidate a little and wait for the 8-period. You can see it's exactly what it did. And we saw it come down, tap, tap-a-roo. Don't you want to go to your home? Came right in, tapped it, and then just went off. Like this was, again, as I have deemed it and said, this was a bachelor shower. Amen.
Which moving average is that, Pedro? The 8?
This is the 8-period moving average, yeah. And this is the trending moving average that I always use to say if it's coming down to, this is what we're going to see it come in, tap. And the fact that it hit this so well, and now we're making all-time highs, it's just silver it's not stopping. This thing, I will not be shocked to see it get to 100. I mean, it's that strong. It's going to get to 100 here, and then after that, I think we'll see it pull back, most likely. But again, you just don't know. Oh yeah, that's why I'm not seeing any of this. There we go. Like wondering. So this is where I think seeing this area here, at that 100 area here, it's like a perfect area, dude. Like we could see it pull back again, see it get up to that 100, boom, and then pull back and tap-a-roo off of that 8. But if you're already in it, hey, you're doing good. We had one of our guys who got in it at 60, down at these lower levels here, when we were talking about it. So lucky for him.
Listen to you, Pedro.
They do, and I'm glad they do, man. They're making that money. He's already up almost 40%. No, 60%. 246. Yeah, about 60% there. So lucky him. He's getting in at these levels. Now, the biggest key I want you guys to be mindful is this, right? That be mindful of that 100 period move or the $100 price mark. Okay, this is around the same place of that 5,000 mark on gold. Okay, so be careful. If we hit that and we start to see a major sell-off, there are 3 primary areas we're going to be looking for. Again, that 8-period and also any liquidity area where you see in a liquidity area is when the market goes up and comes back down, where they put in red candles, and underneath that red candle there's going to be, guess what, stops, and those stops become liquidity for the institutions. So be ready for that. So if it hits this and we start to see a big sell day, right, where it comes down, don't get freaked out. It doesn't mean that it's going to go to the 0. It just simply means that, guess what, they're going back. They hit a bunch of other areas, and it was done purposely. They are profit taking up here at these levels. These are round numbers. Everybody knows in trading, round numbers typically communicate, hey, this is what I'm about to do. So,
Pedro, when does the current silver contract on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange expire? Is it a monthly? Actually, is it 12 of them a year, or is it quarterly?
No, yeah, it is monthly, but I think here you guys. Well, come on, where are you at? I'm wearing my Stevie Wonder glasses, so second, because I was going to read some stuff.
We wouldn't know because we can't see you.
I know. Well, I figured people didn't want to see me in my Stevie Wonder glasses. But here we go, dude. I hate to say it, and am I going to jinx myself? But I have no issue with my internet at all. I am absolutely loving it.
Yeah, I haven't checked your feed. It's up and it's strong.
It's strong like bull.
Yeah, it is.
Nice. Absolutely. Epically nice. I love it. Love it like a fat kid who loves cake. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So check this out here real quick. Wait, you said something about CME. So we're gonna check out the CME here. I'm gonna show you guys actually how to check that out, so you guys can check it. And I said check so many times. I'm just gonna say it a couple more times, like check, check, check a rule. Mic check, mic check. All right. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the CME, not CEM, CME
Class is not working so well.
group.com, and you're gonna hit enter. If you want to, you can create a profile with them. You don't need to have anything extra. You just create a profile like you would create it on Facebook. Once you're in, you're going to go to the main area here, and then you're going to scroll down, and you can see here you have a bunch of products here. Okay, and this is all the world's commodities here that they all go after. Okay, now if you're going to check out crypto, you need to hit the search button, but this is primarily for the primary.
I saw the micro Bitcoin ones down there.
Yeah, that's down in this area, micro futures, but it's not really like, I'm just saying, if you want to get into the details, I mean, like they're starting to, they're talking about the Solana, XRP, that isn't here yet, right? If you want to see that. But let's jump here real quick. So you're going to come here. Now you're going to go to metals, because metals that's what silver is. It's a metal. So from here, from metals, you're going to go here. You see the SI. You're going to come here, click. This is the large contract, but you're going to click it. Then you're going to go to volume and open interest. You see this right here. Then you're going to come down below here, and you're going to see which ones. You can see this one is monthly, January, February, March, April, May. You can see these are the Globex, how many are sitting in it. And then this right here is open interest, how many people actually have orders in it. And right now, the March contract has about 100,000 contracts in it. Total volume right now is about 128,000. Okay, so these are the things you're going to look for to see which ones are really on point. And so you can see here, people are definitely trading the March contract quite a bit. And right now, you can see now, it doesn't tell you whether people are long or short. It just basically lets you know that people are getting out of the January and the February, and they want to ride this silver rally here all the way at least for 3 months. So you can see that right here. People, you also have this right here. You have a pretty big amount of May right here, which you can see. Again, so again, people are hoping for a 6-month rally as well. So they've got a lot of people. And people, what happens is they will jump contracts, get into it early, right? And in that, they can ride this rally all the way up. And you can see it's almost every 3 months. You have the biggest, I mean, obviously July, you have May, you have July, which we have quite a bit of open interest over here. You can see contracts right here, right, kicking in. Then from there, you also have September sitting here. So it's pretty cool when I look at it. That's what I see. Let me pull up my other one too. Trading, there we are. 1 second. Bring you guys into my little trading journal. Silver, metals, silver, right here. So yeah, so you can see here, typically you have the F contract, which is January. You have the H contract, which is March. You have the K contract, which what is K? K is May.
July? No, May.
No, it's
May.
Yeah, it's May. Boom. And then N is July. So you can see about every 2 months we have it. So you can see that's where we're sitting. My biggest key is this: is how far do you think they're expecting this rally to go? So if you look at the contract here, now granted it's a year out, so it's important to understand that I don't, they're most likely not going to push out that far. Pull here real quick. Do it again. Boom. Go to the CME group. Go ahead.
I asked the question about when the contracts expire, because we all know that there's way more futures contract. In everything, there's always more futures contracts traded than there are units available for delivery.
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
That's the nature. And, speculators.
However, in silver, the ratio is way opposite out there now. Yeah, so there's just not nearly enough for people to take delivery on. And I'm guessing some people are going to want to take delivery to actually get silver, but they're not going to be able to, and so they're going to have to spin out of contracts, and that price is going to go nuts again.
Absolutely, you are absolutely correct.
Yeah, the traders will hammer them. They'll be like, it'll be like, the negative, when the Alberta crude oil went negative, and that wasn't because anything to do with market demand and usage of oil. It just had to do with the way that particular, month's contract expired.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I think what's interesting is that watching the whole entire thing, I mean, it's literally like there are people that are speculating literally out for silver. Like we're talking December 2028. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you've got a pretty big one in December 2026. You've got a fairly decent size. I mean, obviously these are 4 contracts, but you can see here that it says, 330. People are out here going through them and seeing how far they can go out, right? Obviously, people are losing interest in it the further you go out. But I mean, you literally got
I wouldn't be surprised if some of those way out there contracts were actual electronics manufacturers.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, good point. Very good point.
Electronics manufacturers, that the price of silver, it going up isn't great, but they need to hedge against it going way up, and they need to indicate that they're going to be taking delivery. Of which, if I recall back from my days, is that you could, on your order, you could specify this is a for delivery order.
Yes.
And so it would get marked on the books as
delivery.
As delivery. And you could still spin out of it, of course, but they put you in line, because when the deliveries come, if you get your order marked for delivery only, then you're in the line first. Very interesting how that all works and how it developed over the years as essentially a completely efficient market. When the government keeps its hands out of it, and it's just an absolutely efficient market, and it's doing well right now. Silver at its highs, gold at its highs. I see you brought crude oil up there too. What's after the Davos talk? What's the crude oil doing?
Yeah, crude oil is one of those ones that I think is really interesting because there really isn't much demand for it. There's not a lot of people out there driving. People don't have the money to go on vacation, which means that a lot of, and just to be completely blunt, that means people aren't traveling much. Besides the typical business movement that we've been seeing, we don't see much really. Just the average person going out, especially Americans. Europeans aren't doing as much, right? They're starting to feel the pinch as well. All over the world, the whole entire economies are slowing down. And so this is where to watch crude oil go up, or it should be going down, like from an economic standpoint. So I'm looking for energies here. Give me 1 second here. And we're seeing that really in the actual data on the CME when you look at the actual contracts, because large producers are not buying because the demand for it isn't there. And so it's been really, that's why I was looking at to see the actual the use for it. Now, obviously, the further you get away from the contract, right, the current contract, and it goes all the way up to 2020 or 2036, right, where people are, speculating out there, whether they're going to go long or short, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But the biggest key point is this: is that we are seeing a kind of a slowdown of buying in crude oil contracts because just things are slowing down. And because of that, they don't want to have extra supply, right, at where they're buying, because that they're buying at a premium if market prices drop. So that's why I'm looking at them going like, from a fundamental standpoint, I think we're going down here because the economy is going down and people don't drive as much. It's basically that simple. People don't have money to go out and, go cross country or go over to the next state and check XYZ out, right? They're going to stay local. They're going to stay and go to the mall for a vacation, right? Let's go walk around and see what we wish we could have, right? We're going to go and we're going to dream. And that happens.
Well, there's no shortage of jet fuel being used. I just, this is totally a non-scientific comment here, is that I saw a jet fly out over the Ottawa here the other day, and I was like, that's a different one that flies into our airport. Let's take a look at that on Flight Radar, and it was just a different cargo jet coming in from Alaska, where a lot of cargo jets come in from. So I was like, ooh, that's cool. Anyway, I looked at the Flight Radar, and the amount of jets in the sky are still unbelievable. I mean, they're burning dinosaurs so fast that you can't believe it. I have no idea if the airline industry is up or down. I'm not following that at all. But I was just, just the amount of jets in the air every day burning, 20 to 100,000 pounds of fuel is unbelievable. It's amazing. It's just amazing. Anyway, but with oil, we're seeing the effects of the Venezuelan oil situation starting. As we know, we've captured 5 ships now, or something like that.
7. Seven. Last one I checked was 7. So I haven't seen if we have captured any more.
Other than just outright piracy.
Yeah.
I think what they figured out was that Venezuela was going to sell things for 20 cents on the dollar, and that the people in the economy would see about 4 cents of that, and then the elites in Venezuela would be stealing the rest of it. And so what the governor of the whole world now, Mark Rubio, is doing is they are essentially splitting. They're selling the tankers full of oil. The U.S. is taking half to pay for our operation and cleanup and reinvestment in Venezuela, and giving 50% of it back to Venezuela to help fund its economy, give it some foreign reserves, kickstart things and all that. Which, really, they should be getting 100% of it, but that's a big amount of cash, and they're not just giving it to them. We're going to be managing it for them too, so they don't just steal it. But that's a big amount of money that's going to start flowing into the Venezuelan economy pretty quickly. Tankerfuls of oil, they're hundreds of millions of dollars. It's hard currency. It's foreign cash, U.S. dollars coming into their economy now, which is going to just start turning the tables there right away. And along with they've managed to get India to mostly stop buying Russian oil because we've cracked down on the shipping of it. And to get oil from Russia to India over land can be done, but it's not efficient. Of course they can load up trucks with barrels of oil and stuff, but it's not efficient. And even the train system, and there's no actual pipeline between Russia and India. And so there's kind of a shift. The market in oil is going to be shifting kind of away from the Russia and Venezuela sanctioned oil, keeping the price down in certain areas. China's going to have to buy more oil on the open market instead of on the black market. And so is India. The demand is not changing. But buying on the official market, which is more expensive than on the black market, is a good thing. It's a good thing. Makes the market more efficient. Will it make the prices go up? I don't know. That's, that depends on market supply and all that. But it'll make the market more efficient. Obviously, every time a market has more liquidity in it, it's a better market. So good things coming for crude oil with the actions of the U.S. and limiting the black market for oil.
It's going to be really interesting here because, also there's a lot of news coming out that America is getting ready to go into Iran. And so Iran obviously gets a lot of crude oil out of its land, out of its ground, and sells it again on the black market, because you shouldn't be buying from Iran with the American sanctions. And so if America does take over Iran, or just comes in, liberates, and allows for the Shah to get back in power, it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays into the market here, because everybody's looking to be selling. So, I mean, is China going to sit there and be like, well, if I buy from Iran, then I'm actually even helping the Americans more? So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here, especially the fact now that there is a potential deal really happening with Trump and Iceland, or excuse me, Greenland. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying Iceland. But it's really interesting to see. Yeah. But it's just interesting to see what is actually happening. Oh, we just hit 49.20 peak for gold, and it's not even showing weakness. Wow, man, we didn't even see I was thinking at the 4,900 we were going to at least see at least a 20-point pullback down to the base here, at least 48.80, 48.70, where there was concern, and not even close. It literally had a 5-point pullback from 1900, and then just how much was that? No, 7. Yeah, like a 5-point pullback, and it just continued high. This thing's gonna.
All right,
this thing's
Pedro,
gonna
I'm gonna. You do watch that go up. Watch Bitcoin. It's starting to tick up. Also, I'm going to read an ad here for our good old friends at 1775 Coffee.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you still not tried 1775 Coffee, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit has dropped, and there's only 1,000 of them, and our viewers have been buying them because they've told me, and they're good. So you better get it out while you can. When you order these coffee package from 1775 Coffee over here, you get 3 things. You get their bold dark roast that hits hard. You get their smooth medium roast, and you get their Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash. No. It's all single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. You're getting a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. You're also getting a black 1775 tumbler. You're getting $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 Coffee blow up right here on DYOR, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is worth it. So go to 1775coffee.com/studio. Grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like DYOR and Rumble do. Ladies and gentlemen, over here next to me, there's a QR code on the screen right here. If you're watching on your big screen TV, hold your cell phone up to it, pop that QR code, put your eyeballs on our advertisers. It really helps Pedro and I out a lot. If you just visit it, let them know that our demographics are real people, not bots like some of the other crypto shows here on Rumble. And yes, Rumble and moderators. I'm pointing that out. Anyway, if you're watching on your cell phone, there is a Learn More button there. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you very much for doing so. And in the description below, there's a link to 1775 Coffee. So thank you to 1775 Coffee for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. All right, Pedro. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around with those. I just love doing the ads. Anyway, earned a measly 32 cents for that, but it adds up. But like I read the Augusta Precious Metals ad on Rumble, and then I said, hey, I like these guys, and I reached out to them directly, and now we're in their sponsorship and affiliate program. So you never know what happens from reading these little ads.
Yeah. You never know. So check them out. Make sure you guys are getting ready. But this thing is looking strong, man. It just might hit 5,000. I mean, it could. I mean, if this thing goes through 5,000, like a fat kid eating cake, a slice of cake, man, this thing is going. I wonder how far. I mean, you're talking prices. I mean, it's already in price discovery, but this thing, it is.
Can you move that over a bit?
Yeah, right here, man. Look at this. This thing's starting to go to Pound Town, man. This thing's about to get going, dude. Like, I'm just watching it, man, going like, man, is it remote? And it's not. It's not even stopping. It's just like, what? What's my name? Say it again. What? Say it loud and proud. What? Like, it is redunculous here. And yes, that is a proper financial term. Redunculous. Just look at that thing, dude. Brah! It's just nuts, dude. Love it when the market just is like just showing off, man. Let me go. No more walls. No more walls. I'm an Aztec warrior. Let me go. No more locked doors.
Yeah. Pax Gold showing 49.23, and it's at the highs. Moving on up to the east side to a deluxe gold mine in the sky. Volume's good too. Volume's all green. Green volume there.
Yep. It is starting to top. It's starting to pull back a little. I mean, you can see here, obviously, we're watching it kind of consolidate, but it just.
There's going to be some mother of all shorts coming up here.
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be. There's a small pullback right here, but there's got to be a pullback as the contracts close out, as people take profits, and there. I mean, there's, as you know, in the gold market, each tick's quite expensive, and it'll be the month.
$10.
Some people are make some big bets.
$10 for every 10-cent move. So, whereas in traditional gold markets, every time it moves a cent, it's a move a cent. But every time a point is moved in the futures market, it is $1. And when it moves 10 cents, or it just moves in 10-cent increments here, as you can see, right? Like
it's $10.
See, right? Yeah, so you see how, so that's $10.
So it goes from we'll just say, 9.23 to 9.23 That's actually represented by $10 in your futures contract.
Yep, exactly. Absolutely. You nailed it. Yep. And right now,
so when it goes up $300 in one day,
yes,
and someone rides that,
it's $3,000 per contract. And right now, man, there's big people are putting in 10, 15. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. The average size is 3 to 5 contracts, man. It is. People are going. I mean, they're just buying. Like, people are like, again, this is why I think this speculate. I mean, 4, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. When you see in bucket, where you just see all of a sudden just 1, 1, 1, 1. I'll show you here real quick. These are the algorithms kicking in. Second, boom. So this is one of the things that I look at, and you can see how these are in buckets. Right, like right here. These are pre-orders where they put price right above, where they put the contracts right above. You can see it's 1, 1, 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is our 10. So it looks like this is a bot. So he came in, but so you can see here, these are shorts, these are longs. And so you can see here, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. So this is 7 contracts. Boom. 5 contracts, 3 contracts, 4 contracts, 4 contracts, 2 contracts. These are sellers. See, seller stepped in. You have pre-sales, pre-buys. So you can just, this is 20 probably. So it's just, this is how this market goes. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And it's just constant. This is the flow of it. That was
with the flow.
Yeah, it really is. That's how you, and you pay attention to that. You really want to learn how to trade here. There's 20 contracts there. Boom, 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 1. You watch this. You learn how to read this, and you understand how price movement is moving towards this. This is where all of your indicators is based off of this guy right here. Like there's nothing in trading. This is the raw form right here. This guy. Everything else is based off of time and sales. All your numbers, all of deviations, all of it based off of that right there. So you get good at reading that, and you get good at the market, but you'll start to see patterns in your brain, because your brain, especially men's brains, we have numerical pattern recognition. It's how our brains work. And so, women's have relational pattern recognition. That's why they can read people really well, see if they're lying or not, right? So it's pretty cool. Keep price high, more money. Yeah, did you get in? Did you get in gold, or did you get into silver, Crypto Mike? Curious what he got into. My friend Thomas Herlihy.
Yes, sir.
You look like you are deep in thought. What are you looking at over
No,
there?
I'm looking through X at the gold price quotes here. And then for that matter, silver. But I really haven't spent any time looking at social media for gold and silver, precious metals, and really you don't really need to, because social media can move certain things, but not markets as deep and as liquid as, unless there's like a rumor, like Venezuela just got invaded or something. That's different, but the bros can't pump. Let's pump gold. Let's pump it. That
No, definitely not.
It doesn't work on this market.
Like remember when Solana started to really get into where institutions were getting involved in it, and I was noticing everything, and this was last year in December, and he's like, what do we need to do to change this and stop them from dropping the market? And so I started actually calculating. I'd be like, well, you would need like at least $100 billion. I mean, and if they get pissed with you because you're stopping them, they'll just call up their buddies and say, give us lower margin, right? And all of a sudden now your 100 billion is basically like 10 billion, because now they're given bigger margin instead of having, or lower margin, or their ante, instead of having to put up, let's say 10,000 or for $100 they get 1 Solana. All they need to put up, or what was that at the time? I think Solana was 200. Instead of having to put up $260 for 1 Solana, all they got to put up is 10.
Right.
And if they really want to push it, they can go down to like $1, because they've got the weight to be able to do that. And so basically,
there's some platforms that have 1,000 times leverage.
Yeah, and they've got the backing. And if those individuals who are wanting to short that, they're going to drop this market, and you are stuck in the disadvantage of literally you do not have the capital to outweigh that, because it's an unfair fight.
All right. Pedro on X, American as fuck, asks, is it normal for gold and silver prices just to be going up nonstop?
No, but no, it's
not normal. This is not normal.
No, it's definitely not normal.
I mean, in the history of gold and silver, yeah, it is. If you look at yearly charts, it's generally an uptrend. But on day-to-day trading, no,
Yeah,
no, it's
and
not.
typically what you would see is, I'm gonna have to go back, like something like this. Like this, it just does this, boom, comes down, goes up, comes down. This is, apart from the huge crazy here, right? That's partly the reason what we're in right now, because we're in an inflationary aspect. So right now it's inflationary. I believe we're coming into a deflationary aspect here soon, right? We're going to see a type of movement where the market is going to go up and then crash. And so what happens is, when those things start to happen, where you have in an inflationary environment, we typically see assets, solid assets like stocks, bonds, stocks, sometimes bonds, but mostly stocks. Gold has always been kind of inflationary hedge, but what we saw in the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s was, we can just go back and look at it, honestly. Here you go. You can see it right here. Like in the 80s, so this is in the 70s, because of because of inflation, the hyperinflation that you had, you saw this huge rally, right, in the 70s. But once Reagan came in and decentralized everything and let the market factors work for themselves, you saw gold sell off here, primarily because you actually had assets, right, that could actually rally really well under good economic conditions, right? So this is what we see here. And then during good economics fundamentals, typically what we see when we don't have a inflationary aspect based off of governments over leveraging their currency is important, because this is not the first time that the U.S. or governments have done this, what the U.S. government is doing, right? So this is one of the reasons why we are seeing this movement. If we had true goods and services being created to support the U.S. or to support the dollar or the currency that is backing it, typically you have a 1-to-1 ratio that allows for production to be expand, or to allow the dollar to be, every time you expand your currency, you need to produce more goods and services within your country.
Right.
Okay, so then when you have the same amount of goods and services being produced in conjunction with with a insert a more monetary stimulus, i.e. printing more money, what happens is you have more money, but those monies are chasing the same goods. So that's what we call inflation. Let me repeat that again. When you have a bunch of people creating doohickeys, okay, and you only create 100,000 doohickeys, and in the circulation or the population circulates money, they have $100,000. Well, it's a 1-to-1 ratio for one doohickey for $1. But once a government starts to funnel more monies into their populace, unless they now, each person, instead of having $1, they have $2. Well, guess what? That's an artificial growth. So now, instead of that doohickey only being worth $1, it's actually worth $2.05. And the reason why that is because when the government went out there and produced more money, it had to borrow that money. And so there was a 5% interest rate on that for them to funnel that money into the people or banks or whatever you want to call it, for them to chase after the same doohickeys. I know that sounds weird. Now that has to do with gold here, because just so that you could stay ahead, if you were the person who was saving your money and you just saved $1, right? Well, guess what? Now your dollar is only worth 50 cents instead of $1 now, because the price of doohickeys went up. So it's only 50 cents now. It's $1, but it's really worth 50 cents because you were just cut in half. When that happens, this is what happens to gold. Okay, this is what happens. Gold goes up because it's got to stay in conjunction with the with how many dollars are being created. Now, the part here is Reagan came and said, hey, we're going to take off all the shackles of the economy and we're going to let the American people produce more doohickeys. And in doing that, that then caused the price of money to equal out. So now instead of having only 100,000 doohickeys, we now have 200,000 doohickeys for 2,000 or for 200,000 dollars in the economy. So now you have a 1-to-1 ratio again. And if you're producing more doohickeys, okay, and you're selling it abroad, not just to the American people, but now you're selling it to India, China, whatever. Now you are a net exporter, and so your dollar becomes worth even more money. So now your doohickey is only $2, still $2, but your dollar, because you are producing more, becomes stronger. And so that's what happened here in this part here where the blue is at. Right? We saw it go down to the 80s and 90s, but then guess what happened, right? A bunch of shenanigans happened called a housing bubble. And they started producing more money. Okay. And
Right.
again, this doesn't happen overnight, right? I'm gonna make this blue. Second. Okay. Now, around this period in time, banksters started doing this thing called everybody should have a house, right? The American dream. And Bush did some things that kind of threw everything off. And then the banks bet on those on side bets. Anyways, long story short, it caused a huge inflation situation happening after the crash because they needed money to come into the market to help. How do you explain this part? Because the money that we had evaporated because the market went down. Nobody stole it. It just, what happened was there was so much money in the market and so many doohickeys, and nobody wanted to buy the doohickeys anymore. And so that the doohickeys didn't go to zero pricing, the banks and governments stepped in and just started buying the doohickeys, funneling money into the system, hence causing again the dollar to get out of whack in that ratio of 1-to-1 per doohickey versus dollar in the system. And so we saw another explosion, and that's this right here. Okay, boom. Then this period here that we see in 2014 to 2000, about 18, the pullback has more to do with global economics and other things that were happening. But the current situation now is similar to what I was just saying here, back kind of in the 70s here, okay, where we just started to just create more money versus it being supplied with doohickey cells. And that's really what we're seeing here. It's you know, and this is basically based off of, many of you guys always hear me talk about this thing right here, right? The US debt. I hit this all the time, right? Our US debt to income GDP ratio. Okay. And part of this debt has to do with a thing called the US deficit. That US deficit has everything to do with the US government having to now run itself and also pay down this debt. And so it's a bit of a kind of a circle jerk right now with the U.S. government trying to do that. And i.e., Trump is trying to get away from the Federal Reserve because that's really kind of who we're paying back, right? Who gave us that money. And so if Trump can get off of the circle jerk going on right now and get the rest of the world to buy if he can get the rest of the world to buy stable coins. I'm trying to make this like right off the top of my head, and I'm actually going to create like a little narrative so I can break this down because people are asking good questions, and I need to make this really simple so that I don't confuse you. I need to simplify it so that all of a sudden, like in a story form, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I've actually been thinking about it. I've actually been working through it with a friend of mine, how to do that. And every time I do it, I always make it way more complicated. And he's just like, bro, that's actually lost. The doohickey story was that, based off of that. So, but the key point is this, and this is really important to understand, that if Trump can get these stable coins to get exported around the world and stop the banks from screwing that over by allowing many of the stablecoin providers to offer interest, then people will buy the U.S. debt, and we can get around the Federal Reserve and that 5% that we need to do, because that money, that 5%, will be paid by private industry instead of the U.S. government. But those private industry will have to buy treasuries, which will fund U.S. government. And it's possible. It's very plausible. We already see it right now. Right now, a huge initiative around the world to stop countries from buying actual crypto and stable coins because they don't want their people to fund the U.S. debt. But they want to buy crypto. And no crypto provider is going to take anything less than a U.S. or U.S. stable coin. So this is really where the fight is at. Most people want to sit there and think, oh, it's globalism. Oh, it's transgenderism. Oh, these are just symptoms of things coming out to block us from the real fight that is really happening right now, which is the Federal Reserve and the U.S. debt. What is actually happening? Everything that we talk about is based off of that. This is why Trump is literally in Davos going, you guys have used fear mongering. You've used so many things to get us wrapped up in your craziness so you can keep us buying your debt. Well, you know what? Go after yourselves. That's literally what's happening in essence.
All right there. I like that screen showing all the countries' debt.
Yeah. So I've been following this, and this has been absolutely crazy, man. You look at China's has just started exceedingly again. They're now negative like us on their where's it at? I just had it. Look at China. China's is now negative. They're 105 public debt to GDP ratio. From an internal debt to GDP ratio, even though it's really low, it's still like we think this is a lie here, based off what's actually happening in the internal government. Right. Everything's happening. So, but this is real the way, because we can see transactions and other companies doing business, and for them to expand their economy, they have to go in debt. Because what are they doing? They are creating the Belt and Road Initiative, which means they have to loan out money. And a lot of that money that they're loaning out, unfortunately, a lot of what we just, a couple $100 billion was just removed from it when we took over Venezuela. But here's the thing. If you want to know something absolutely crazy, I was thinking about this. Again, this is nuts. But if we were to go into Pakistan, it's crazy. I know what I'm saying is crazy. Like debt-wise. What is it? Isn't Canada on pace with the U.S. compared to GDP and population?
Canada's much worse. Look at this number down here. It's not just worse. It's drastically worse.
Yeah, you guys are 50%. You guys are 50% away from literally going completely just bankrupt. Like that's this guy right here. Where the rest of the government. And so when Carney made the comment, I was also going to bring this up because I wanted to point this out. Like, now you're the next U.S. in the free world. No, Doc. No, because you can't handle, as Tom said, the actual people are not going to want the loony. Because look, their debt to income ratio sucks. There's no way you can, and no matter what he says, it's just not, people are not, Tom says it perfectly. Nobody's going to go through and want to buy a loony because they don't trust that they can actually go through and create the GDP that they need to. Like you actually need a lot of numbers. Like you're only at $2 trillion. Like that's not enough. Like America's 31 trillion to 38 trillion. Like it's just, we're almost 15 times larger than you. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's like a baby size compared to a full-grown adult. Like a child that's normally a foot, right? But anything, how typically long is a baby? A foot long.
Does that big golden wings on it?
Big golden, I don't totally.
You sitting in the front row like a Leonard Skinner concert?
Oh, okay. No, I'm just being a real baby. I'm talking about it. I got you. No, I'm being serious. Like, what is a baby's normally a foot long, right? So you would need a full-grown man size of 15 feet. That is the difference between us and Canada. I mean, it's that crazy. Like that's how big the U.S. economy is. It's juggernaut. And this is why I said the craziness of Lutnick coming out and saying we're going to grow 5%, not this year, this quarter. I mean, if he lies about that, do you understand that? I mean, if he does anything less, his word is going to look trash. I'm saying, I hope it's.
I got Space Cat in the Telegram room. He's drank the Kool-Aid about Carney completely, and so I said I get it. I get you're optimistic. He gave a good speech and all that, but the numbers aren't backing him up. Pedro and I talked about it on the show, and he literally, I posted sources like to the OECD website that shows of all the developed countries. It's just like this. It, shows graphs, household income, debt, household debt, unemployment, all that type of stuff. And Canada is getting hammered in every statistics, according against the U.S. and against all these countries too. And then here you're showing this graphic. And I said, Space Cat, I'm not making this up. Yes, Pedro and I put a lot of work into this. But we don't make it up. We're not up here just going, oh,
blah blah blah.
Canada
like
sucks.
This is
USA is great. We look at these numbers every day in space. If you're watching, this, and I just posted this. I screenshot this and put it in the room. Canada has 124% debt to GDP ratio for all of its debt, and what it owes its external lenders, people not meaning they didn't lend it to themselves, is 152%. I mean, that's bad. I mean, the UK and France is bad.
Again, I haven't said this part, and I wanted to wait. You also forget that what you guys consider for GDP is still government paying people. Like 75% of your industries in your country is supplemented by the government. Like, that is astronomical. Like in America, I think it's like Trump is like, we need to get like, and this was funny because even Lutnick talks about, he goes, it's crazy that we consider part of our GDP, he goes, and it's going away because we're pulling that away, and that's going to be part of the actual debt system instead of an actual GDP. When a government pays somebody to work for them, that is not GDP. It is called debt. And so we're going to start calculating the correct numbers. And when he talked about that on the All In podcast, I was like, finally, like it's like a household saying that when they pay their child, okay, like, all right, your kid has an allowance, okay, you give him money.
It's income.
And the fact that he has money and he goes out and spends it, you sit there and you say, oh, that's GDP. And it's like, no, it's not. It's still debt because you just gave him money to go spend within the household. It's like, it's not, it's almost like you saying, okay, I gave him $5. He spent that $5 with me for dishes. So now we have $5 extra. No,
Right.
no. That it's
all right. Hold on. We got you on that. We got you on that, Pedro. Crypto Mike says, isn't Canada on pace with USA compared to GDP and population? No. No.
Right here.
They're very close.
40 million.
And they move in sync. I don't mean in population totals, but the U.S. has been, the GDP has been growing at an alarmingly high rate over the past couple of months. Really, since Trump was elected or inaugurated.
Again, I want to add this. It is not, but it is. It is done. It's being done by energy being sold out of America. We are receiving money because it's not because of jobs. It is not real economic growth, but potentially. This is why I keep hitting so hard on this aspect that he has to create more jobs.
Wait, hold on. I get that. I get that, but I want to answer Mike's question. In that Canada's GDP has not kept up with that. In fact, they've had zero growth in a bunch of months, where the U.S. has had a lot of growth. And whether, like Pedro says, is it's short-term inflows from energy sales, or not, it's still money coming into our economy from someone else's economy, which is really good. And then Mike says, and debt-wise, and no, your debt is actually growing faster than ours, as a ratio, as the per capita or GDP debt to GDP, and you can see it from the chart right here. It just says it's 124%, and I bet you if you look over that with time, because remember, Chrystia Freeland was on TV just a while ago. And Janet Yellen said the same thing in the Biden administration. Said, "Oh, we have great, our debt to GDP ratio is fine, and all this type of stuff." And then they looked at the numbers and they're like, "Wait, you're not including all the liabilities of your pension plan." They're like, "Oh, well, those really aren't liabilities now. They're liabilities later." And they're like, "No, that's not how this works. You owe that money." And so no, Canada's actually doing worse. But overall, as a trend, they do move together. Obviously, because when you look at the Midwest of the U.S. and Ontario, that's the heart of manufacturing and GDP in the United States and Canada. So they move in sync generally in the longer terms, but right now they're not moving in sync at all, and it's because of different policies. Roland Rod, welcome to the show. Volume is low, guys.
Now, I also want to add to this. I think this is also really important. I always talk about our liabilities, and I'm pissed off that the U.S. debt clock has taken that away, right? Like I used to be down here where we actually could see our liabilities and everything that was worth, and it was somewhere around $230 trillion is what we actually owe, right? But from a total hit in wealth and everything like that, if we were to sell everything, we actually could fix it, right? Remember how it was going to each American now it's worth $500,000, right? Each American now is worth $613,000 because of everything that America owns and what it's building. Now, what's important is this, though, is that we, as Americans, even if we don't do 5%, if we do in a year, if we do 4% growth, if we can do 4% growth in a year, not in a quarter, which is what Lutnick is saying. And I don't know why he's saying that. I hope it's true. The output of America's goods and services would generate income for Americans to actually go through and start to help their economy, get them out of debt, so that GDP we'll be able to get, basically, we could tax ourselves, right, more, because we'll actually have more money or be able to give to more. We can actually slow down currency erosion and also increase the average American GDP, their own gross domestic product, by them when they work and then they go and buy, because we are no longer doing what we've been doing over the last 30 years. We're staying more we're insular in Saylor. And so this is one of the things that's actually screwed over Canada, because the fact that there is this tariff situation and you guys weren't cool with us. We literally said, fine, then we're not going to do business with you. And we're building our own factories here. We're creating our own industry here. Hence, if you look at like where you guys are at, is only because America was supplementing with you guys. We were doing a lot more business with you, and it was good on your end. You bringing more money in, and we were bringing less money in, but we got dope stuff. But now that there's this whole entire situation going on, and Carney's saying, F you, America, we don't need your stuff. We're like, fine, all right, we'll go down here and we'll create it ourselves. Now we're doing business within our own selves. So our money, what causes growth in the economy is when you have circulation of money within itself, not externally where you see money leaving the town. Like if you see one thing that makes a town bustle and get expanded and grow is that when you see a lot of local businesses doing business with each other, and then that causes more jobs, which causes more money to inflow, and other people see, oh, industry, I'm going to go over there and I'm now going to work, and then I'm also going to create a business and a family, and I'm going to buy a house, and then it causes that economy, that local economy, to expand and grow, become more wealthy. That can happen as a nation. And right now, what has been happening, right, is that your nation kind of had that, right? But the fact is now that the economy that was feeding money into, or the town that was feeding into your town, put money into your town, said, we're our leaders are kind of fighting. And one of the larger towns was kind of getting screwed over, i.e. Americans. And so we sat there and said, we want there to be a fair trade balance. And remember, like during this whole entire period, I brought a whole entire list of like 50 things, and we looked at it and said, this is what Trump is talking about on the unfair balanced trade of Canada and America. Remember we said at the beginning of the show, hey, you got a bunch of kids living that are 35-year-olds down in the basement of the house playing video games, yelling at the parents to shut up and be quiet and go to work. That's basically, and now the parents is like, okay, enough is enough. We're done. Like, you're gonna have to either you get out of the house, or you play fair with rules here. You need to go out and start producing as well. And the kids are like, no, we're not. And so the parents are like, all right, we're canceling this. Guess what? We're cutting off the heat. We're cutting off the electricity from the lower part of the house. Good luck. So that's literally what we're seeing here. And so Canada has now gone over to who to get their money? China. Here's the thing. We're nicer than China. When China starts to come in and put everything up, which America is not going to be cool with, guess what's going to happen? China's going to come in. They're going to start bringing heavy. I want to say, why am I forgetting what the word? They're going to come in and they're going to charge you a lot more money for the money they're loaning you. And they're going to be unforgiving. Whereas America's very forgiving. They're like, all right, let's work this out. We can work this out, right? We don't come in and try to take your ports. We don't come and try to take your cities. We don't say, oh, this land is ours now because for payment. This is what's happening over in this what happened in Guatemala, not Guatemala. Why am I forgetting? What is Maduro? Why am I forgetting that? Venezuela, right? All these other places that are part of the Belt and Road Initiative. Anyways, man, it's just problem is people don't want to sit there and actually. I'm not paying $600K for a American. You got to be responsible. No, man.
I thought that was really funny. That was really good.
Yeah. No, you don't need to, man.
We'll give you a sale, DeFi dude. We'll mark us down to 500,000. How about that? We can come work in your garden or something like that. Maybe clean up your financial books or something like that. Maybe spend $37 trillion.
Yeah, you know. And so this is the thing that people don't want to look at. This is a complicated situation, but you need to understand the nuances here, because American does have the Uno card. We have the reverse card. We have we have draw 4 cards. And the rest of the world doesn't. And we're tired. This is what Trump is saying, is the American people are tired of flipping the bill for everybody.
Did you say reverse Uno card there, Pedro?
I did say the reverse Uno card, exactly what you posted. And again, it's not that
the timing for all these jokes is all about timing, and my computer is just running so slow right now. I had the reverse Uno card ready to go, but it's just not working.
And the banking industry, their system is, they're trying to hold tight. That's the other thing. We got to talk about the banking industry and how that works in conjunction with the U.S. debt, and as well as us going out producing goods and services, right? Making money cheap. Federal Reserve, they're the ones. Do we need, I believe, as Besson says, if they need oversight, they really do. But there's a lot here.
I can't believe it froze right now at the end of the show. It just come on, computer, let's go.
Dude, my PC, my internet, bro, is doing so freaking good.
Our broadcast software, the video isn't just my user interfaces. That's just not letting me do anything. Anyway, we're getting to the end of the show. Pedro, I'm guessing that you haven't been looking at the show clock at all today whatsoever.
No, I haven't. I'm sorry, man.
He's trying to get your attention for about an hour.
Why don't you just privately hit me up?
I stopped you a couple of times.
No, just literally send me, and just go to the personal for Telegram. You can just do that.
Or I can use the show software. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't get to strategy today. There's the reverse Uno card. Oh, it didn't come up. There we go. There's the reverse Uno card.
Rather true.
Anyway, we've come to the end of the show here. Today, I am going to do a raid. We're going to raid Simply Bitcoin again. We've got Tom Lugano over there railing about the World Economic Forum and the WEF and their policies established in Davos and all that. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us today here on DYOR Live. We'll be here tomorrow. Pedro, I got to talk to you about the schedule for tomorrow. I'm trying to do a couple of things at once tomorrow. We'll talk about that later today. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to raid Simply Bitcoin here. Please participate in the raid. It helps us out. DeFi Dude, Crypto Mike, and so forth. Just at least get sent over to Simply Bitcoin and say that DYOR Media and Striking and Pedro sent you. It helps us out with the engagement of the algorithm on Rumble and all that type of stuff. Anyway, so everyone have a great day. Off you go for the raid. For the rest of you, thanks a lot for joining us. We really appreciate everything here, and we will see you tomorrow. Later, everybody. There we go. I'm gonna hit the show credits. Boom.